Welcome to Markets Today. I'm your host, Mbithe Mwema. Now, I want to take you through what is happening in as far as turnover on the NSE is concerned. Later on in the show, we will be speaking to the Chief Executive Officer of the NSE, Mr. Geoffery Ondundo, to get a sense of what he thinks in as far as investor sentiment is concerned and what you need to be doing on the NSE. Circling back to the Nairobi Securities Exchange, yesterday was a very strong day in as far as turnover was concerned. Turnover traded at about 1.1 billion shillings, which was up 131 percentage points compared to the previous trading session. Safaricom was the majority traded stock with about 19 million shares traded at 28.4 shillings per share. Local investors continue to buy this particular stock ahead of its earnings release, which are expected next week on Wednesday, that's the April 29th. The analysts are expecting a 10 to 13% earnings growth rate. So we continue to see the locals piling up on this particular stock ahead of those results which are expected next week. In corporate news, we have seen NCBA Group actually come to the market and indicate and inform its shareholders that it will no longer be issuing a 1.5 shillings dividend as earlier proposed on March 24th. Instead, this company will issue a 1-for-10 bonus issue. And it does cite the fact that the COVID pandemic will possibly affect its business, and it wants to have the sufficient capital buffers to be able to mitigate any foreseeable or unforeseeable risks. This is the first company in Kenya that has actually come and cancelled an earlier proposed final dividend. Now, we are seeing the fact that COVID will have a negative impact on company operations. Some companies could possibly go the NCBA way or go the cooperative bank way, which tomorrow will be paying out 5.8 billion shillings in a final dividend of 1 shilling per share. So different companies, different banks, different strokes. It all depends on the capital structures. The tier 1 banks are more or less stronger than the other banks, so we expect them to pay their dividends. Global banks have cut back on the dividends, so some banks that have global brand names could possibly follow this route. What do we expect today? Muted performance. Safaricom continues to dominate markets. But as we circle up on to what is happening globally, the key thing I'll leave you with before we go on the break is the fact that Brent crude prices came to about $13.64 per barrel. We expect to see weakness. We expect to see global weakness continuing. And based on this, we could continue to see the foreigners selling out of the Nairobi Securities Exchange. What should your considerations be? We will be discussing this after the break with Mr. Geoffery Ondundo, who is the CEO of the Nairobi Securities Exchange. You can either talk to me directly on Mbithe Mwema on Twitter or Metropole TV on Twitter and let us know what questions would you like us to be able to front on your behalf, or what issues would you like us to address in helping you discuss and identify whether now is the right time to invest in stocks or later on. See you after the break.